All content is publicly sourced and used under the USA Fair Use and UK Fair Dealing Guidelines. The things I say are strictly my opinion. Good afternoon, everyone. It's the it's the Bizzy Bee with the royalty. I hope you are all having a great Monday, July the 27th. This picture I really wanted to share with all of you. You see, this is a picture from my childhood. I was going through some things and I found it. I was 12 years old when this picture was taken. I am the one on the right, the pudgy one on the right. Back then I wasn't too happy of a child and I ate my feelings. That's my mother in the middle and my stepfather. My mother was obsessed with Gone with the Wind and Scarlett O'Hara, and this was her opportunity to dress up like Scarlett O'Hara. The church that we went to was having what they called Old Fashioned Sunday, and my mother just took it and ran with it. This was her chance to dress like Scarlett. I didn't like it too much. I thought I looked like one of those kids from the Disney movie Newsies. Moving on, for today's History Minute, we have Henry IV, House of Lancaster. This is a miniature of him, circa 1402. A few facts about King Henry. He reigned from the 30th of September 1399 to the 20th of March 1413. Henry was the first English ruler since the Norman Conquest whose mother tongue was English rather than French. He was known as Henry Bolingbroke before taking the throne. Even though he displayed the body of his predecessor, King Richard II, there were still rumors that he had ordered the king killed. He had disposed of the king. Sorry about that. An exhumation years later showed Richard II had truly died of starvation, so Henry IV was not responsible for his death. The king had poor health in the latter part of his reign, and his eldest son, Henry of Monmouth, assumed the reins of government in 1410. Henry IV died the 20th of March, 1413. He was 46 years old. He is buried at Canterbury Cathedral in Kent, England. Oh, before I get started, I have a lot I want to share with you all today. Please stick around till the very end because I have a very hilarious what have we learned today. But for all you Anglophiles out there, I wanted to show you how Anglophilish I am. This is a cookbook that I have. I have cookbooks from all different countries, but my English one is my favorite. And I've made several things out of it. I just wanted to share with you. This was hodgepodge pie I made. Although I didn't make it with different meats, I just made it with lamb. This is a Cornish pasty I made. Shepherd's pie. Toad in the hole. And this wasn't in that book, but this was something. This is the Queen of England, Her Majesty's favorite dessert, chocolate biscuit cake. I found the recipe online and I made it. It was delicious but rich. Another picture of it. For all of you who tuned into my live cast yesterday, you saw this was the mask I was wearing. Oh my goodness. And of course, the Queen's hat, and of course, the lovely Elizabeth II wig. When I do my live cast this coming Sunday, I probably won't wear another mask because some people said they didn't like it, and my partner had a few comments about it as well, which I won't say. But I'll figure out another way to hide my face, but I will be another monarch. Not Elizabeth this time, but I'll certainly be another monarch. Alright, everyone, please tune into my other channel that I started, Real Royalty, where you'll learn things like on this day in royal history. Each day I make a new video to tell what happened today in the history of the British royal family. I also did a video about a letter of Diana's being auctioned off, and no, it wasn't the Harkles to try to make a few extra bucks. And I also did one about, forsooth, Clutch the Pearls, Balmoral being vandalized. Tune in to find out what it's all about. So, wow. Okay, today's article I want to share with you. Let's get into it. Enough about everything else. It's about the palace fighting back against this new Omid Scobie book because, as we all know, this past weekend, excerpts from it were released to the press, and it's just been everything that I've heard about it is just absolutely horrible. For instance, I want to share this one smidgen with you. It's not in this article, but I thought it was very important. It's talking about William's snotty attitude towards Meghan early on is what caused the rift between Harry and William. Well, this is a direct quote from the book, and then I want to tell you something interesting about it. The quote says, "Don't feel you need to rush this," William told Harry, according to sources. "Take as much time as you need to get to know this girl." In those last two words, "this girl," Harry heard the tone of snobbishness that was anathema to his approach to the world. So William said to Harry, "Don't feel you need to rush this. Take as much time as you need to get to know this girl." And so when William said "this girl" about Meghan, Harry heard the tone of snobbishness that was anathema to William's approach to the world. So what do you think? And of course, Harry and Meghan didn't participate with this. Yeah, right. Okay. So when Harry was telling this to Omid Scobie, because let me ask you, if they didn't participate with this, how else would we know the conversation between Harry and William? Duh. Come on. How crazy do they think we are? But let me continue. That word snobbishness that William said to Harry, what is that AKA for? RACIST. He's trying to say that his brother William is prejudice. That's what that word means. And he said William's approach to the world is looking at it through prejudiced eyes. So, no, it is a hit job against his family. Absolutely. It's despicable. Where do these two get their nerves? And their families, the families pay him for their upkeep. Let me read the article from the Daily Mail. "Snubs are just smears. After Prince Harry and Meghan Markle biography's explosive claims, royal insiders give their side of the story. Biography contains a string of claims about how H&M were shunned. Finding Freedom has been dubbed the gospel according to the Sussexes." The gospel, but the words in the Bible are true. The words in Harry and Meghan's Bible, not so much. Contains score-settling and vicious swipes at family, courtiers, and the media. Said to be written with their blessing, and authors had access to their inner circle. As I said in the live cast yesterday, Meghan released through her people that she did not give an interview for this book. But I said, no, she didn't give an interview, she gave the interview that created the whole book. Moving on. Courtiers have been quick to insist that the version of events from Friends is false. Not Friends, Meghan and Harry themselves. The biography of H&M contains a string of incendiary claims about how they were shunned by the firm. Dubbed the gospel according to H&M, Finding Freedom was said to have been written with the couple's blessing, and its authors had access to their inner circle. Spanning 24 chapters. Wow, that is a lot of lies. 24 chapters. Ooh. Oh, the book contains page after page of score-settling and vicious swipes at the RF, courtiers, and the media. Indignation and rancor are particularly directed towards William and Kate for supposedly cold-shouldering the Sussexes from the start of their relationship. Even the Queen, who did much behind the scenes to ease their journey away from royal life, is rebuked for apparent slights towards the couple. The astonishing book has sparked fresh recriminations over who was to blame over the bitter fallout from megxit. Courtiers who have read extracts from the book have been quick to insist that the version of events peddled by friends of H&M is false. Here, the Mail outlines some of the astonishing allegations and examines whether they stand up to scrutiny. Let's check this out. It goes over a few of them one by one and finds out if they actually do stand up to scrutiny. Viper courtiers blamed for stifling their schemes. Senior courtiers, who Diana used to refer to as men in gray suits, are described as vipers. The book claims the so-called Old Guard tried to undermine the couple and were concerned that the global interest and popularity of H&M needed to be reined in. That's a bunch of hogwash. The courtiers were concerned that H&M's popularity was too much and they needed to be reined in. Phooey. Phooey. H&M believed few inside the palace were looking out for their interests and felt that most courtiers could not be trusted with their sensitive information. They believed that these men in gray suits, were stifling their attempts to launch their initiatives, and when they tried to air these frustrations, the conversations didn't lead anywhere. One source said Harry felt that some of the old guard at the palace simply didn't like Meghan and would stop at nothing to make her life difficult. The book concludes that Meghan was totally foreign to this group of advisors, who could sometimes be even more conservative than the institution they guarded. The description of senior palace courtiers as vipers has sparked some amusement in royal circles, conjuring up the image of a group of bikers in leather jackets. Oh, they are certainly not that, I assure you. Maybe 30 years ago there would have been an issue, but that's just laughable to suggest now, said one insider. The source said it was obvious why it would suit the narrative of the book, but insisted the description is just not true. Meghan will switch up anything to suit her narrative. Victim always. Another insider said the fact is that Meghan was welcomed with open arms, and everyone did their best to offer their help in how to navigate such a tricky public role, advice she would often choose to ignore. They did the best they could in often trying circumstances. So, they offered Meghan advice, they tried to help her, she didn't want it. Sounds like Smeggers. The A-team of staff who dwindled away. In an interview yesterday, one of the book's authors dismissed the notion that Meghan was pushy towards her staff, despite numerous departures. Scooby Doo said Meghan's high-profile career as an actress, please, nobody had heard of her till she got with Harry. Suits was a B-list cable network's, not quite primetime viewing. It was a despicable, high-profile actress, my fat foot. As an actress, and the fact that she was a divorcee left her ripe for exploitation, but insiders have often hinted at the couple's high-handedness. The Duchess was surrounded by an A-team of high-achieving women, all wanting to promote their boss's world vision, but one by one they all departed. First, the couple's assistant, Melissa Tubati, quit in November 2018, 6 months into the job, after allegedly being reduced to tears by Meghan Markle. That's so not what happened, Mr. Scobie said. Of course he did. He's Meghan's mouthpiece. He then cited legal reasons for refusing to elaborate, because Meghan told him not to. Meghan said, just say I didn't fire her, just say she wasn't crying. That's all she can say. A few weeks later, the couple's private secretary, Samantha Cohen, left after 17 years with the royal family. Last January, Meghan's female bodyguard departed after just 6 months. Archie's first nurse did not survive her second night before being let go for unprofessional and irresponsible conduct, according to Mr. Scobie. Unprofessional and irresponsible conduct? Well, if you could get fired for that from the royal family, Meghan would have been gone a long time ago. She's never behaved professionally irresponsible since joining. Royal biographer Robert Jobson claimed in his book, Charles at 70, that Meghan's wedding preparations were so stressful that Harry became petulant and short-tempered with members of staff. Meghan's bringing out the worst in him. Charlotte's dress tears. The authors insist there were no tears from Kate over Meghan's strict demands surrounding her wedding. It was claimed in November 2018 that Meghan had reduced her sister-in-law to tears over Princess Charlotte's bridesmaid dress. The Daily Telegraph reported that 2 sources said the Duchess of Cambridge was crying after a dress fitting with Charlotte, pictured below at the wedding with her mother. The Mail has also spoken to sources who support the claim that Kate was deeply upset. Dismissing the story yesterday, the book described the claims as puzzling and questioned whether someone from the palace could have been behind the tale. It said aides should have set the record straight because it was a ridiculous story that was so false. Some of the children weren't cooperating, and there was a lot going on, the source said. Everyone tried to help where they could, but it's never easy with kids at fittings. There were no tears from anyone, and in the end, the fitting was fine. Kate and Meghan were both a little stressed, but professionals in the room, and there were other people there. Kicking up a stink at the chapel? According to royal sources, Meghan disliked the musty odor of St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle and asked for air fresheners to be deployed before her wedding guests arrived. This was said to have horrified Buckingham Palace officials, who pointed out that the chapel was a regular place of worship for the Queen and successive monarchs since 1475, and if it was good enough for them, it would be good enough for her. But a passage in Finding Freedom dismisses this notion. The truth, it says, was that discreet, scented air diffusers for the chapel, provided by Diptyque, had been approved by all parties involved. The fuss over the odor was first revealed by the Daily Mail several months after the wedding. Insiders at both Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace confirmed the request has been made by the Duchess's office for the scented diffusers and that it hadn't gone down well. These sources stood by their account last night. Another lie from Smegs. Ignored by Wills and Kate at the Abbey. Oh, poor Meghan, they ignored her. Oh, here we go. During one of their final engagements as senior royals, Meg was purposely snubbed by the Duchess of Cambridge in front of a global TV audience, the authors claim. Shortly after arriving at Westminster Abbey in March to mark the 70th anniversary of the Commonwealth, Harry and Meghan both greeted William and Kate with smiles but got little response. William nodded at Harry and allegedly ignored his sister-in-law. I would have ignored her too. I wouldn't have looked at the evil wench. For the minutes before the Queen's arrival, William and Kate sat with their backs to the couple, only turning around to chat with Prince Edward and Sophie. Next to the Sussexes, the authors wrote, Meghan tried to make eye contact with Kate. The Duchess barely acknowledged her. Good for her. In an interview with the Times, Mr. Scobie said, to purposely snub your sister-in-law, I don't think left a great taste in the couple's mouths. Royal watchers point out the icy encounter was the first time they had seen each other since the Sandringham Summit showdown over the Sussexes' role 2 months earlier, and a formal event was not the moment to rebuild bridges. Exactly. A formal event where the world is watching is not the time when you're going to hug and be all lovey-dovey with the people who just walked out of their duties. No, ma'am. No, Meghan. Meghan just uses this to play the victim. She knows how the royal family works. Oh, and I just wanted to say one thing I forgot to say. It's because it was ridiculous and it was so false. Everyone tried to help. But in the... Okay, right here. Dismissing the story yesterday, the book described the claims as puzzling and questioned whether someone from the palace could have been behind the tale about Kate crying. So I forgot to mention when I read that part that this is saying that they think that Kate is the one who leaked the story. This book, aka Meghan, is saying that Kate leaked this. Phooey. Hogwash. So staying solo at the polo. The book claims that Meghan and Kate's cordial but distant rapport was apparent when the pair appeared alongside each other at the King Power Royal Charity Polo Day last summer. Although the Duchesses were pictured with their children, the two appeared to barely exchange a word, it was claimed. The authors wrote the state of affairs between the two women was just an offshoot of the real issue at hand, the conflict between Harry and the institution. The picture of disillusion. The couple were dismayed when no photograph of them and their son Archie was displayed during the Queen's Christmas speech last year. According to Finding Freedom, they considered it a snub that their photo was absent from the desk in the green drawing room at Buckingham Palace, pictured above, from where the monarch gives her traditional annual address. Already feeling they had long been sidelined by the institution and were not a fundamental part of its future, the couple considered the episode to be yet another sign that they needed to consider their own path. Photographs of the Duke and Duchess have featured in the Queen's address in 2018, but she opted last year to display images of her father, King George VI, Prince Charles and Camilla, and a family shot of the Cambridges. The book quotes palace sources as saying they wanted to illustrate the line of succession. Yesterday's sources scoffed at the suggestion that it was the absence of their picture from the Queen's desk that prompted Harry and Meghan's decision to go, no, it didn't prompt their... They had that plan way before then. This was her Christmas speech, December 25th. They announced it, what was it, just about a month later, maybe less than a month later? I know it was in January, and you're telling me that was the straw that broke the camel's back? No, it was planned long before then. More lies from the mouth of Miss Markle. What does the Bible say about the mouths of fools? Please don't forget to check out my new channel. It'll be linked in the description below. You can learn about Windsor Castle reopening to the public. You can go inside Queen Victoria's tea house on the grounds of Frogmore in Windsor Great Park. And you can see the Queen's childhood sentimental artwork, which is currently on display at Windsor. Some comments from my last video about the palace getting ready to be thrown under the bus by the Scooby Doo book. JD said, "Hi BB, Toronto paper has just referenced MM being well known by the owner of the Hollydale and asking if she has tried their cheese pizza. Do you know what this means?" I responded, "Is the Hollydale a pay-by-hour motel where a motel where escorts take their dates? If so, then I am sure Ms. Markle knows what it is. She has surely been there several times." Debbie Stonehouse, "She eventually throws everybody under the bus. I bet she will even do it to Harry eventually." Deborah Blondell says, "Could you send a message to Harry to buy his wife an iron and a hairbrush for her birthday, or did he buy her those outrageous huge lips? Here's a hairbrush he can send her for her birthday. It'll be great in that new mane she has." GGGVVV says, "I truly doubt the royals fear anything. These two, the not-so-bright prince and his dodo wife, say or do. The royals hold all their money. Pop your popcorn, sit back and watch. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be great." As Betty Davis said, "Buckle your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night." D says, "The Harkle's new parents, Harpo, Oprah, and Medea, Tyler Perry, should realize the next book is about them." Right, the next tell-all revenge piece will be about Oprah and Tyler when they get tired of them and Tyler throws him out of his house. D says, "Maybe now Prince Charles will close his wallet." Lisa says, "It only worked for 72 days by the time she left. How can she say she was a working royal? They are absolutely stupid, not stubborn. Harry won't be allowed back in with her next to him. She is a disgrace to us Americans. She needs to find a hole, crawl in it, and stay there. I'm so tired of her antics." Sunshine exclamation point says, "Mimi completely ignores that most of us were beyond supportive at the outset, despite red flags, and she lost favor for no other reason than her narcissistic ways. Always the victim." Well, when you have experience playing the victim, then why not play it? Susan said, "Wait a week and the book will be reduced to virtually nothing and will be in the library." H has to be ashamed. He is living 100% off the money of the RF, and he has no respect for his family, Marlies says. So, what have we learned today, everyone? Number 1, not only is the Bizzy Bee charming, handsome, and witty, but he can also cook. Number 2, on my new channel, Real Royalty, you will get all the royal news you can use, plus tons of royal history. Number 3 thing that we've learned, Malignant Meg has been through almost as many staff as she has men. Number 4, if it is a pay-by-hour motel off Sunset Boulevard, Smeg knows it well, especially the ceiling, as she has spent much of her time on the mattress staring up at it. When Mophead Meg is done with Half-Wit Harry, his new favorite position will be under the bus. Auntie Oprah and Hairbrain Harry can go to the pet store to pick Megasaurus up some much-needed grooming equipment for her birthday. Number 7. When Tyler Perry throws the Harkles out of his house, they will write their next revenge book about him, entitled Finding Freedom via Eviction Notice, the Making of a Modern Homeless Family. Number 8. After the Scooby Doo book, Daddy Charles's wallet will close tighter than Meg's legs after Harry slipped the ring on her finger. Number 9. Smigsy's, that is Smeg plus Piggy equals Smiggy, Smigsy's time as a working royal was only 72 days. which was the most the British royal family were hoping the marriage would last. Number 10, Mooching Meg plays the victim so well because it is a role she has been playing her entire life. Number 11, the Harkles' book has already been reduced and it has not even been released yet. It is just as cheap and useless as the Harkles themselves. The 12th thing that we've learned, like Smegs, the only thing the Harkle Scooby Doo book is good for is taking up space. And the last thing that we've learned, the only shame Hairbrain Harry knows is the one he sleeps next to each night. Alright, you guys, Valerie, Myrtle, Gemma, and Edward, appreciate any treats. Tips are greatly appreciated as well. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification button. And please don't forget to check out Real Royalty. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great rest of your Monday. Bye-bye for now.